This is the story of how a small frontier tribe became a global empire and how that empire slowly disappeared. The Ottoman Empire did not begin as a great power. It began quietly on the edge of history in a small corner of northwestern Anatolia where land met danger. In the late 1200s, the region was broken and unstable. The Seljuk Empire was falling apart, the Mongols had shattered old systems, and the Byzantine Empire was weak and shrinking. In this space of chaos, many small Turkish groups fought just to survive. One of these groups was led by a man named Osman. He was not a king, not an emperor, and not famous at the time, but his name would become the name of an empire that ruled 3 continents. Osman's followers were warriors living on a frontier. Life there was hard. There were no strong borders, no clear rulers, only constant fighting. Osman and his men attacked nearby Byzantine lands, not as a grand plan to build an empire, but to gain land, food, and honor. His leadership attracted more fighters, especially those who believed they were fighting for both survival and faith. Slowly, his small group became stronger. Villages fell under his control, then towns. When Osman died around 1326, his people already controlled important land. More importantly, they had a clear habit. They kept expanding. Osman's son, Orhan, turned this growing force into a real state. He captured the city of Bursa, which became the first Ottoman capital. This was a major step. Cities meant money, trade, taxes, and order. Orhan created systems that lasted for centuries. He formed a standing army and began using paid soldiers instead of only tribal fighters. He allowed conquered people to keep their religion and customs as long as they paid taxes and accepted Ottoman rule. This made conquest easier. Many cities surrendered instead of fighting because Ottoman rule was often lighter than what came before. The Ottomans also used geography wisely. They crossed into Europe for the first time by taking land in the Balkans. At that time, Europe was divided. Kingdoms fought each other, nobles argued, and there was no united force to stop the Ottomans. Step by step, the Ottomans moved forward. They did not rush. They took land, secured it, then moved again. By the late 1300s, the Ottomans were no longer a small power. They were becoming a serious empire. A key reason for their success was organization. The Ottomans built a strong system of government. Land was given to soldiers in exchange for service. This meant the army stayed loyal. The state collected taxes in an orderly way. Roads, bridges, and cities were protected. Trade increased. As wealth grew, the army grew stronger. As the army grew stronger, more land was taken. It was a cycle that pushed the empire forward. One of the most important moments in Ottoman history came in 1453, when they captured Constantinople. This city was more than just land. It was the heart of the Byzantine Empire and a symbol of old Roman power. Many had tried to take it and failed, but Sultan Mehmed II prepared carefully. He built cannons larger than anything seen before. He controlled the sea and the land. After weeks of fighting, the city fell. Constantinople became Istanbul, the new Ottoman capital. This event shocked the world. A Christian empire that had lasted for over 1,000 years was gone. For the Ottomans, it was proof that they were no longer rising. They had arrived. Istanbul became a center of power, culture, and trade. From there, the Ottomans controlled key routes between Europe and Asia. Goods, ideas, and money passed through their lands. This made the empire rich and influential. After this, expansion continued in every direction. In the Balkans, Ottoman rule spread deep into Europe. In Anatolia, rival Turkish states were absorbed. In the east, the Ottomans faced strong enemies, but they held their ground. In the south, they moved toward the Arab world. When they defeated the Mamluks in the early 1500s, they gained control of Egypt, Syria, and the holy cities of Mecca and Medina. This gave the Ottoman ruler a new role, protector of Islam's most sacred places. By now, the Ottoman Empire stretched across 3 continents: Europe, Asia, and Africa. It controlled seas, deserts, mountains, and fertile lands. Its population included Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Many languages were spoken. Many cultures lived under one rule. What held this together was not force alone, but structure. The Ottomans allowed diversity as long as loyalty remained. The empire reached its highest point under Sultan Suleiman, often called the Magnificent. He ruled in the 1500s when Ottoman power was at its peak. Under Suleiman, the empire expanded further into Europe, reaching the gates of Vienna. The Ottoman navy ruled the eastern western Mediterranean. Their ships controlled key ports and trade routes. European powers feared Ottoman strength, both on land and sea. But Suleiman was not only a warrior, he was also a lawgiver. He improved laws, reduced corruption, and brought order to the system. Courts worked more fairly. Taxes were regulated. This stability allowed the empire to thrive. Cities grew. Art, architecture, and learning flourished. Great mosques, bridges, and schools were built. Istanbul became one of the most important cities in the world. The Ottoman army was one of the most advanced of its time. The Janissaries, elite soldiers trained from a young age, were disciplined and loyal to the state. Gunpowder weapons were used early and effectively. While many European armies still relied on old methods, the Ottomans adapted quickly to new technology. This gave them an edge for many years. Trade was another source of power. The Ottomans sat at the center of global trade between East and West. Spices, silk, metals, and goods passed through their lands. Taxes on trade filled the treasury. Markets were protected. Roads were maintained. This economic strength supported the army, the government, and the population. By the mid-1500s, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful states on earth. European rulers watched it closely. Some feared it. Others tried to copy its systems. Diplomacy became as important as war. The Ottomans were no longer just conquerors. They were global rulers shaping politics far beyond their borders. At this point, it seemed the empire had no limits. Its armies were strong, its rulers confident, its lands vast. Few could imagine that such a powerful system could ever weaken. The Ottoman Empire stood at the height of its power, holding together 3 continents, commanding seas and cities, and shaping the fate of millions. After the death of Sultan Suleiman, the Ottoman Empire was still large, but its strength slowly began to fade. The change was not sudden. It happened over many years, quietly and steadily. The systems that once made the empire powerful began to weaken as the world around it moved forward. Leadership became one of the main problems. Many later sultans were less involved in ruling the empire. Real power often shifted to palace officials and advisors who cared more about personal gain than long-term stability. Decisions were delayed and corruption grew. As control from the center weakened, distant regions became harder to manage. The army also changed. The Janissaries, once disciplined and modern, resisted reform. They feared losing their power and benefits. While European armies improved weapons, training, and tactics, the Ottoman military adapted more slowly. This caused defeats in key battles and the loss of important territories, especially in Europe. Trade routes began to shift away from Ottoman lands. European ships sailed directly to Asia, reducing the value of land trade routes. This caused a drop in income. Prices rose, taxes increased, and ordinary people suffered. Economic stress weakened the state and increased unrest in many regions. At the same time, new ideas spread across Europe, including nationalism. Many groups inside the empire began to want their own nations. Greeks, Serbs, and others rebelled, often with European support. One by one, provinces broke away. Each loss made the empire weaker and more divided. By the 1800s, the Ottoman Empire was often called the sick man of Europe. It still existed, but foreign powers interfered in its affairs and waited for it to collapse. Ottoman leaders tried to reform the government, army, and education system, but changes came too slowly and faced strong resistance. When the First World War began, the empire joined the conflict to protect what remained of its lands. Instead, the war drained its final strength. After defeat, Ottoman territories were divided by foreign powers. Promises were made to local groups, but many were broken. In 1922, the Ottoman Sultanate ended. An empire that once ruled 3 continents disappeared. From its remains, the modern nation of Turkey was formed. The Ottoman Empire rose through strong rule, smart systems, and control of trade. It fell because it could not change fast enough in a new world. Its story remains one of the greatest rises and slowest falls in history.